All right, ladies and gents, welcome to the first game in a play all three. This is going to be the second round for the Viper in what will be 5 rounds, 5 weeks of Age of Empires 2 action here in Titans League Season 2. Viper had some incredible performances in his first week against Sebastian, a player who was promoted. He's now up against the second player who was promoted in Sitaux from his first season in Gold League. Sitaux, I think, unlike many of the other promoted players, one of those players that many people thought could have been in Platinum in the first season. He had to earn his position, and he's here. He's down here in the south playing as the Malians. His dock is in the north, and he's tried to give himself an opportunity to beat the Viper by not choosing Nomad, but kind of choosing Nomad based on how the draft works and how it decides on what game number 1 is. Basically, it got down to the final ban. The remaining map would have been what was played for game 1, and Sitaux had that ban. He decided to ban Scandinavia as opposed to Nomad. So I think with that decision, he felt like, okay, let's try and hope that we can have more of an awkward start for Viper. Let's test Viper's talents on something else, and maybe I get a little bit lucky with a good map generation, find a couple boars fast, blah blah blah, and we have some cool things happen. This generation can happen on this version of Nomad. It's very common for this Nomad to be landlocked. And both players have actually docked as far away as you could from each other. So the fishing ships for both players will most likely be safe. And you do also have water in the middle. So it's kind of like a donut-shaped map, if you look at it. Interesting. Not too bad. Anyways, Viper's brought in a boar. Sitaux will likely bring in his boar soon as well. And the Malians, one of 2 civilizations that can afford a dock, a TC, a house, and a fishing ship at the very start, so that will give Sitaux a nice little start. Already has 2 fishing ships. A very nice build for him so far. Now, when I think Portuguese, a lot of players are going fast castle into organ guns these days. So you're going to want to kill the Portuguese fish. And so finding the docks on Nomad comes down to using your sheep to find those dock locations. So for Sitaux, he's currently eliminated the possibility of Viper having docked over here. Now, he's got a long way to travel, but that's a really big skill element on Nomad. For Viper, he's not actually doing a whole lot of that, to be honest with you. But he might not be as concerned. He might just feel like this is as safe as he could get. Obviously, if his opponent docks here, though, he's then trapped. Bear with me as I hydrate occasionally here, guys. Still coming off of a sickness. So trying to get over it as quickly as possible here. Someone says Viper can defend his dock way more easily. Yeah, but there's massive downsides, right? He's going to have to shift his fish this way. He can't fish here forever. There's not infinite food. So in order for his fishing to be efficient, he would need another dock. And there's just not as much water for him. Whereas there's a lot more water for Sitaux here with his fish. And Sitaux is playing amazing. Like, there's been feedback on this generation, and people are like, oh my god, it's so hard to find docks. It's a skill element to Nomad, man. And I have seen the best players on Nomad, both in Wandering Warriors Cup, and also other examples we've seen so far, figure out this map. Think about how ACCM played against Doubt. That'll be on YouTube this week on the main channel. Also, the full series will be on extras. But like, boom, just like that. Look at Sitaux. He now knows where Viper is. So now he's like, oh, okay, well, my fish should be safe. I haven't lost a sheep to this dock myself. Viper will know he's been found, by the way, because you hear the little bloop. So let's see what he decides to do. But yeah, Sitaux's plan is to take out Viper's fish. He now knows about it because he's been scouting like a madman. Great stuff here from Sitaux. I'm very happy to see that. As for Viper, he will not have been happy to see that. It seems to me like he himself is going to be coming over here to make a second dock, like I said. Could obviously defend his fish in the choke point with 2 docks, if that tends to be the way he'll play this. But I mean, he doesn't save on wood buildings like the like the Malians do. Things are a bit cheaper for him with gold cost with the Portuguese, but that's a bit different. I still can't afford to make another dock here. In fact, I'm not even sure he will be able to, as he kills this boar. And Viper's going to be up so late compared to Sitaux. And here comes Sitaux with a villager, and Sitaux's definitely going to dock over here. He's just looking for a shore fish. Micah, Sitaux didn't win a tourney, but Sitau's been competing and showing as like top 16 quality for quite a bit here. So the Sitaux hype is due to that. He's gone deep into a few events, right? Like deep, like top 16-ish, which is more than the majority of players can say who are in gold. So that would be where a lot of the Sitaux hype and respect comes from. He is also very active, and I also think his style is that the style of a player who could perform very well in the long term. He's very quick, and there's no like question marks over his ability to execute. It's more so strategy, and that's where the best players like have to improve. It's just strategy. And already I'm really happy with how he started this game. He's going to see that fishing ship from the Viper, and Viper's probably going to lose his fishing ships here. And I think this is a great start for Sitaux. This is what he would have wanted against the Viper. Remember, everyone else in the group's going to have to play the Viper. Odds are that Viper's going to win his group like he did in the first season. So if you get 2 wins, and then you have to play everybody else, and Viper's going to beat everybody else, you're putting yourself in a really good shot in the long term in your group. Remember, Viper, he never scouted where Sitau's dock was. I know it says he's had something here, but I personally believe that was a starting villager. I would have to go back to verify that. Viper, you've got to be kidding me. Viper! Okay, he was going to lose a villager to a boar. He saved it with the house aggro trick. He's clearly focused on his fish. Good news for him is that Portuguese do have a little bit more HP on their ships, but bad news for him is there's already fire ships on top of him. And he's just going to use a new villager to bring in that boar now. Pretty sloppy stuff there from the Viper, but he hasn't lost any fishing ships yet. As I say that, though, he will lose one. And there's 3 fire galleys here already. Now, the choke point will be awkward for Sitaux, but I like how he's played this so far. The big worry for him is, will Viper have a faster castle than him? And honestly, I think it's possible for Viper to still do that. Viper's had a lot more land focus this game. He's hoped to get as much with the fishing ships as possible. And I'm still going to see. Is he going to lose a villager to a boar? Nope. Okay, so he does a good job there. And he's also trying to block with his fishing ship there. He's trying to block the fire from Sitaux. Dude, stop being such a nerd, bro. Settle down. Oh, God. Oh, my God. The boar... Viper! What? He misclicked onto a boar. Viper and the boars have given him so many problems this game. Oh my god. If you ever worry that boars are such a simple task for everyone else and it's not a problem for you, it's like 3 instances in the same opening where Vipers had run-ins with boars. Oh my god. And we haven't even... We just started, guys. We're not even finished with this game yet. Who knows? Okay. He didn't actually lose the galley to the boar, sadly. Sitaux got the credit for that kill. But it was still pretty funny as Viper loses all of his fish. So Sitau's got his fishing ships fishing nicely in the north. Viper's now transferred on the stone. And the hope for Viper's organ guns. Sitaux is set out to kill fish. He has killed the fish. This is a great start for him. The only thing is missing is 4 food. And he's up. Now, here's the next move for Sitaux. He knows where Viper is. I'm going to tell you what the move is. Because I hosted and casted Wandering Warriors Cup. And I'm a bit more experienced on Nomad these days. You ready? You stonewall. You stonewall this. Like, you know Viper's there. You know that if he doesn't go organ guns, you're way ahead. So he's probably going to do it. I think you just stonewall this. Boom. Stonewall. Just stop Viper from being able to get organ guns across the middle of the map. Maybe it's more obvious for me from the caster's perspective, but I think that'd be a really clutch decision. Now, Viper, he knows now that Sitaux is the dock over here. He sees 2 docks, so he's probably assuming that Sitau's got some fish, and he doesn't want Sitaux to have those fish. Will Sitaux see this? It looks like Sitaux will. He's also, he's going to redock over here, so he has more plentiful fishing eco. And to me, it looks like he's noticed Viper's dock is there. He will take Viper's dock down here. I think Viper could actually just casually boom into a second town center, to be honest. He brought in a lot of boars. But he is going to go for the War Galley upgrade, and he's not going to give up on water. He does not want Sitaux to have the fish. Probably a good decision for Sitaux to relocate these fishing ships down to this dock right now. Because Castle Age fire ships do a really good job at taking out fishing ships. You don't want to lose like 6 fishing ships when you have more Navy than Viper, and you could always just defend. But he does have the numbers here, and he is going to get War Galley himself, and Viper's going to have a pretty small window. Which one's researching War Galley? This dock? Okay, I like that. Sorry for all the dinging. That happens when you click docks. It's just part of the game. Viper will take that fishing ship. He's probably going to take the fishing ship with the fire. He'll probably take the next one. This is kind of the problem, right? You're kind of trapped in here. Viper hasn't dropped a castle yet, by the way. Viper loses his fire ship, though. Could lose the next one. His demo could be seen as very late over here, as Sitaux micros beautifully. And again, good opportunity, though, to just move your fishing ships down here. You have a new dock. That's a perfect spot for it. So you don't have to create more work for yourself. Here's a knight from Sitaux. It's running into Viper's base. Viper sees this. Viper already assumed this was going to be the case. And Sitau's thinking, I can kill the villager. But the monk timing from Viper is pretty epic. And the knight's going to get away. Hey, oh, it gets converted! Just Viper things, man. Like, I would never get that conversion in a million years. Very fast conversion there from the monks. Viper's going to land a demo here, but he'll still end up losing his dock, and Sitau's still going to keep his fishing ships alive. So Viper is absolutely behind right now. But he is going to drop that castle. And Viper sending a counterattack here with the knight that he converted. And more than anything, I think what Viper wants right now is he just wants to know where Sitaux is. And Sitaux is dropping 3 town centers, kind of in the same spot here, right? It could be kind of a worrisome thing if organ guns show up. And Viper happy to kill some villagers after losing all of his fishing ships. And he's going to try and run back to his monk, I'm sure. And there's his castle. But Viper's really far behind. Like, 3 TCs for Sitaux, plus the fishing ships for Sitaux. So it's got to be Viper's army count that makes the difference here. Do organ guns count as archers for the blacksmith? No, they don't. They're siege. And now Sitaux is going to try and get the stone walls down. I think if you know there's a monk out there, I think this stone wall is way too ambitious. I think you have the stone wall back here. This seems questionable to me. Too close to Viper's base. Viper just lost a knight. He's going to know that you have a knight here. I don't like this location for Sitaux. I like the idea, but too many players are scared to do it in Feudal Age on Nomad. You've got a fish boom. Just protect this area of the map and, you know, get some... I guess the gate's going to go down now, so it has bought him some time. He'll get some walls down. And now he's trying the walls. And this is just not... It's not going to work. And I'm just so concerned for Sitaux. He's planning into walls. He doesn't have any army, guys. Organ guns and monks on the way. Viper had an incredible comeback in game number 1 against Sebastian, where he was, like, what, 25 villagers behind there, too? And this one here, though, is just Sitaux not doing that tiny little move we mentioned. If he would have stonewalled already, Sitaux would be completely fine. Now he's panicking. Sitaux is collapsing, falling apart because of a couple monks and organ guns. He knew that he needed to get ahead before these organ guns came out. Viper's going to have an amazing position. Look, he's using the monks to try and stop these villagers from building the tower. Anyways, tower will go up. Total KD, though, much closer now. Eco count also much closer. And Viper hasn't had to deal with villagers having to build towers. Like, his eco is pretty smooth. He's got a pretty solid army. And he'll know that Sitaux is freaking out and investing so much into defending this right now. Oh, man. Sitaux had such an amazing start, guys. And just one simple strategic move of getting the stone walls down would have saved him all this problem. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, and he's going to know it, too. Like, it's so obvious for him, too. So that's in the back of his head. Just think about Viper's job now. It's easy. Just keep pressuring with this force. Get tons of value. And then just drop your town centers behind it. Well, Sitau's eco efficiency over the last minute, 61%. That matters here. The Viper's killed villagers, but obviously he has forced villagers to run from their tasks constantly. A questionable thing for Viper will be, can he micro down the siege here? And organ guns can. Like, I think the tech tree says your organ guns are vulnerable against siege. That's baloney, dude. That's baloney. They're not that vulnerable against siege. They're really not. They do so much damage against mangonels that it shouldn't be much of an issue. And it also shouldn't be much of an issue if you've got monks that can get redemption and convert that siege. Organ guns weak against siege, please. And Viper, though, he is wise. He's killed one. There's towers. There's a flag there. So he's like, oh, let's not go too crazy. But he knows he's behind. He'll drop a town center here and here. Sitaux will be happy that at least Viper isn't pushing much further. But obviously feeling a little bit uncomfortable here. Fun fact, Petard's one-shot organ guns. Ooh, that is a fun fact. How do you know that? That's a very good point. Sitaux, you wouldn't want wheelbarrow because you don't have farms. But Sitaux doesn't really have good eco upgrades otherwise. The type of thing, like, if Viper was in Sitau's position and would have played this game, he would have absolutely stonewalled behind there in Feudal Age, and it would have delayed the attack enough where he would have had, like, he wouldn't have had as many problems otherwise, right? Weak against siege, huh? Viper splits, guard towers in, all the mangonels are going down. This is a crazy unit. Portuguese are a crazy civ. Viper played with the Portuguese before they were cool. I'm sure many of you guys know this that have been around for a long time. But he's loved his organ guns before, you know, any of the other bonuses from Portuguese were buffed or changed. But yeah, Viper bringing 2 villagers forward now so he could just repair these organ guns. And the splits just... It was confident. It made it look easy. It was beautiful. And Sitau's now adding more fish. Something he could have maybe done because he's won water a long time ago. But he's had a lot to do and a lot to focus on, obviously. Still has an eco lead. I'm curious what the difference is in the eco collected. See, it's pretty close, but Viper actually has the lead there. And Viper's now on 4 town centers as well, right? So he's going to probably be an imp faster this game. He's got an army that scales pretty well. The beauty of organ guns, actually, is that you don't even need to really get a lead. Like, they're really good in Castle Age. They give you a lead, and then you can do other things. I don't think Viper will actually place a forward castle. I could see why you would think that. But I actually think instead, with 4 relics, he's just going to think about the other areas of the map and just try and take this game late. I think this is going to be late game Viper. The fact that he got 4 relics behind that attack as well is just dirty, dude. This eco progression is so good. He honestly fell so far behind early. Like, that's the thing, though. Sitaux knew everything he needed to do early, and then he just needed one thing to slow Viper down, and he didn't do it, and now look where Viper is. It's very similar to what we saw with Sebastian and Viper. Viper had to find his opportunity in Imp, right? Like, if you're not always pressuring the guy and always doing the right thing, he's going to find a way. And yeah, Viper's just going to place a castle here. This might actually be, especially if Viper sees this castle, we might see early Cannon Galleon play for Viper. I think that's what he's thinking, which is pretty wild, right? He's swinging over here with the monks. He's going to potentially lose all 3 of these if he's not careful. Now, he's not going to lose any more. Sitaux will lose his monk now. Viper's imping. And he will use the middle water control to make cannon galleons to pressure down all these buildings. And cannon galleons have crazy range, too. That's such a crazy play. Dang. He's also, I think, just going to come back on water in general. I see him over here now. I think a lot of this is because he saw the docks from Sitaux, so he just wants to take Sitau's fish. And the balance for Sitaux just hasn't been there. This has no answer to these organ guns and monks. Crazy economy for the snake. Sitaux probably thinking, maybe I can dock here to just make demos. He doesn't know that Viper's doing all this. He is, however, killing a villager from Viper over here. So that's a little sloppy from Viper. And he's going to realize that now. Did Sitaux realize that Doc was there? He did not, but he still got the fires looking. So good awareness from him there. Yeah, Viper adding War Galley in the middle. And then fires on that side, it looks like. And Sitaux still very far from Imp. But he's just holding with Guard Tower. He's had to invest into Fletching. Guard Tower. Mangonels. Still is just constricted. He has to fear these Orkin Guns all the time. We'll see if Sitaux realizes what Viper's up to here in a second. It looks like he does now. Viper's still no Bodkin arrow. There he's going to kill the fishing ship. And the messages from the Sitaux fan have gotten much quieter in my chat. The one who boldly said that Sitaux is going to show the world what he's made of and beat Viper 3-0. Suddenly very quiet. But I did say it was a bold prediction, and Sitaux deserves the fans that he has. And Viper's been it's so smooth and calm, collected ever since he got through with the initial Orkin Guns. He does actually take some heavy losses there to his galleys. As the first thing his castles will do is make trebuchets. Actually, not the first thing. He's getting conscription, but he's also getting chemistry. But not for bombard cannons yet. I think that's just for the cannon galleon move. Where's Sitau's ships? So Sitaux, I don't think he knows where those fire ships are coming from. So he's patrolled over here to check. But the fire ship's actually coming from this dock. Also, Viper's getting heavy demo right now. It would be really funny to me to see him get redemption too and just start converting Sitau's docks. But if anything, he could just convert Sitau's ships. Now, if the fire ships ever come in, Viper will just convert them. Castle for Viper. Obviously, he's got Trebs underneath that castle. Sitaux still 40 seconds from Imp. Sitaux does have some fire galleys here, which is probably why Viper was thinking about demos. Yep. Like I said, Sitaux tries to save his fish. Viper tries to convert the fires and would say thank you very much. And Viper is killing it right now. Like, no Fatorias either. Like, a full-on working economy. His Trebs are exposed. Loses one of them. He'll probably be a little disappointed in that, but he's going to make another one now. Not converting here, Viper. A little distracted, so good job from Sitaux to find his moment. And the demo tried its best, and now Viper's sitting there with heavy demos. And yeah, now you could even see the cannon galleons. Like, just sit them under here. Viper's going to drop barracks now. I think he's trying to decide on what Sitau's going to make. But I don't think he realizes how bad Sitau's eco is. He's probably thinking Sitau's going to go Cavalier. But Sitau's thought process is fast fire ship and bombard cannons to come back. But I honestly don't even think that's a possibility for him. Like, well, I mean, it is a possibility to make bombard cannons, but I don't think it's going to bring him back in this game. Like, fast fires are countered by the demos. He's lost a castle already, and he just calls the GG. Viper just completely dominated him. But guys, like, I don't want anyone to look at this and say, oh my god, Portuguese are OP. Or, oh my god, this generation, it's so hard to kill the fish. Sitaux killed the fish. But when you kill the fish, you have to know where you're vulnerable next. And where you're vulnerable next is when your opponent's going for a castle drop. And I mentioned it way before he even thought about his early forward walls. You have a big lead. You know the way back for Viper, some Orkin Guns. You know it's going to be stupid annoying to stop it. Why are we on a choke point map when he knew where Viper was for so long? Why are we not sending 2 villagers forward like before you click up to castle and just stonewalling this? If he stonewalls this side, then the attack from Viper has to come all the way on the other side. And you could even have stonewalled this side too. It's not that hard. When you have a big eco lead, like you have a massive eco lead at this stage, 3 TCs, it's not that hard to justify a couple villagers going forward earlier and dropping those stone walls. And like you could tell Sitaux had the thought. He had the thought late. And this stone wall never made any sense because Viper would have had the Orkin Guns and the monks. I think Sitaux had the perfect opening, but he just didn't know how to keep Viper away from him. If he would have kept Viper away from him, it's a different game. Of course, we don't even know how full stone walls would hold against Portuguese. So, yeah. As someone says, can't Orkin Guns break through stone walls? Yeah, but it gives you time, right? he had 0 time because he's like, oh crap, I thought this would work. Oh no, I have nothing. And then he can't do everything else. Him attacking your walls gives you a certain amount of time to add more walls behind or to do whatever you need to do. So, and you know what, as a counter argument, Malians have cheap university and their university research is way faster and they could go for even like fortified wall. But yeah, it's just like you have such a big eco lead at this stage of the game that you just need to delay it for even a couple more minutes and give yourself some time. What happened here was complete panic. Complete panic. I'm going to die. Oh my God. And this is the type of thing that kills you because you can't execute on everything else. But yeah, I think I'm not saying that Viper would have got completely smashed if the stone walls go down, but that's definitely where Sitaux started to fall apart. Get a couple layers of stone walls down there in Feudal Age. Make Viper work for it a bit more. Anyways, Viper ends the game. Very healthy resource count. Once he got through, it felt like it was inevitable. I think he had those struggles early on, but as always, the longer the game goes, the better he looks. Viper undefeated so far in Titans League Group D. Next game will be on Acropolis, I think, which is a map we haven't seen yet in Platinum League. All right, so I've been excited to talk about this map for you guys. We've seen Acropolis before, but we actually made some tweaks to this version, which I think is going to produce even more entertaining games. So the map is Acropolis. This is the first time that we have seen this map in this season. This is one of the new maps that had come in, like Nomad, Scandinavia, Regicide Fortress. We rotated in new maps for Season 2 of Titans League. So, you know, true to standard Acropolis, you start on a hill, and there's a lot of tiny wood lines, and you eventually want to move forward to other resources, specifically the wood lines, golds, and stones. Don't worry about the water. We're probably not going to see any docking there. But yeah, so if you know other versions of Acropolis, oftentimes the map would go to the, or the, I guess like the flat region the players have at the top of their hill would extend to the edge of the map. And so players could wall like whoop, and then like whoop, all the way over here. That's not possible here. Also, Viper, look at this. Look at this. He's going to go to the wood in the corner. Now, funnily enough, that was another thing we had to look at, because sometimes golds would spawn back here, so we fixed that. But occasionally woods can spawn, like in these little back areas. But yeah, this version of Acropolis, guys, if you want to full wall yourself on your hill, you have to wall in a circle. You can't wall to the edge, because the slanted rock terrain cannot be built on. So, anyways, that's like the part about this map that has me really excited, actually. Because someone says Viper map hack safe woodline. Yeah, it's safe and it's hidden, but he can't, like, wall to the edge of the map. So this needs its own set of walls, which actually could be pretty awkward if, like, scouts and archers come in. But yeah, it's Viper, and we see that, so we're like, okay, he's going to make something happen. But yeah, really creative move from Viper there to take advantage of that, instead of trying to take the smaller woodlines on the top. Sitaux, though, I mean, Sitau's just going to walk forward, and he's going to take the wood line that's not on the hill anyways. So yeah, what that change should do is that should mean that this map is a bit more army-oriented. I think we'll see more scouts and archers in Feudal Age than we'd normally see. I hope so anyways. There was a really good game between Nilly and Doubt, and if I wasn't so busy this month, I would definitely cast it for my YouTube channel. But again, I've just been doing so many things already that I probably won't do that. But if you haven't seen that game, check it out. It was so cool. Like full feudal, full castle, into imp. I really enjoyed watching that. But yeah, 7 tiles of gold on top of your hill, and then 5 tiles of stone. I think that should be consistent from both sides. And then elsewhere, you've got like neutral golds. You want TCs eventually in areas like this, areas like this. And, ooh, that's interesting. Those are 2 neutral stones that ended up next to each other. Huh, yeah, you see how there's 3 and 3? So 6 tiles in the same spot. That could be a pretty interesting talking point, actually. But yeah, I like both these civs. Tatars are great because you have extra food in your sheep. Tatars also do extra damage when fighting on top of the hills. So, I mean, Acropolis, you're on top of a hill. Seems perfect. Also, I think Tatars are pretty good against civilizations that tend to be played on this map, because you tend to see a lot of civs that will go scouts and knights. And Tatars have scout knight as an option for themselves, but they also have camels and cav archers. This is a great Cav Archer civilization map because regular archers aren't seen as much due to how far away players can be and how slow foot archers are. So it's probably a big reason why this map was just calling for me this season. Because I love Cav Archers. And I just love Knight and Cav Archer civs. It's just, I don't know. The game just feels so awesome when you see those units. Viper clicks up kind of late. A little surprised. Nothing crazy. And I'll be curious to see what Sitaux ends up finding when he looks for Viper's woodline. But yeah, Chinese also are good because they're good on maps where you have a lot of food at the start. They're good on late game. This map tends to go late game. You start with more villas with Chinese. Pretty easy, smooth start for Sitaux. And they can kind of do everything. Yeah, other civs for this map. Berbers, Magyars, Franks, Huns. Those are the civs that come to mind. But you notice, Hindustanis as well. But you notice it's like one of those maps where you're like, oh, no Mayans, no Aztecs? Yeah, okay, makes sense. A lot of other standard land maps, you're immediately including Aztecs, Mayans, and a couple other civilizations, like Britons, for example. I don't think Britons would be too easy to play on this map. I think you'd place your cheap town centers, and then you'd have knights running around your base, and it'd be really annoying. All right, so Sitaux might never find this. Like, it just feels like a game where Viper's just never going to be spotted back here, right? Let's see. Don't tell me he's actually... Come on! Yeah, see? Okay, finally I look like a genius for one. Oh, my God. Okay, well, Sitaux finds it. That's an important find. I said that, and I was like, oh, I can see the YouTube title and the thumbnail now, you know? I was thinking of the content. But yeah, obviously it's good that he sees it. Viper's going to drop the stable. And Sitaux's going for the full walls. Dang, man. Again, you cannot wall on the stone here. Obviously, it would have been way better for Sitaux had he just walled like this. But he doesn't have that vision. And the key for him would just be lots of farms now with the Chinese. Get lots of food on their farms. He's got a spearman here waiting for his woodline. The walls should go up where he's looking. And Viper... Like here's the thing. Viper is going for the hill walls. And again, you can't wall to the edge. So you're always going to have these units running round and round in circle. I feel like Sitaux's walls feel more realistic for the long term. As crazy investment as that is, it protects more. And then you just have to have your army here, I guess. I don't know. I'm just very happy with the change in general. I would like to see more Acropolis games. I don't think we should get our hopes up for seeing a lot of Acropolis in the group stage. Because there's so many bans available in the group stage, players are just banning maps that are a bit uncomfortable for them. And I think Acropolis has always been uncomfortable for some players. Not to mention the change I just mentioned also makes it more difficult for them. It's interesting that Viper hasn't shown his scouts yet. I want to see if Sitaux will notice this. Okay, so now he sees the scouts, and he probably was expecting it, but I don't think he knew. Viper has a lot more scout production, though, and I think that's because of the amount of food he's brought in with the sheep with Tatars. And he's going to look to control this map with army. He's got 5 scouts now, with 1 more on the way. Sitaux's farming eco, though, should be well ahead of Viper, so I think the mid-game eco is going to be a bit different. Especially because Viper is transitioning to stone. Or, sorry, not stone, gold, and making a range already. So that's a lot of wood investment into those buildings, and delaying farmers. Sitaux sees the scouts. Will not ever want to give Viper the hill. So I can understand why you'd want to move out, because Sitaux is an aggressive player who likes to kill. But maybe you just back up for a second. If he knew what we knew, he would back up and just wait for a couple more scouts. Could see bloodlines early here from the Viper, right? Being on golds, having lots of scouts makes a lot of sense. Viper takes a better engagement here. Sitaux stays in the fight because he knew Viper would have to leave when the spearman arrived. Well, still feels like these fights are slightly better for the Viper, but it's so close. And then you do want to stay away from the Tatars when they have their hill. Now, this is where the Spearman being home would have been so much better. He's not expecting Viper to have an archer or two. It's an invitation for Viper to send that archer or two forward. We now see a blacksmith for Sitaux, who's getting bloodlines on his scouts. He's got 7 scouts, though, so he has 1 more than Viper. And now he realizes this is an area where he might need to worry, because he wants to run forward, because he's a bold, crazy, fast player. And I like this decision. Spears back home, and walling in this wood line. I think if Viper ever gets through, you have time to wall in this wood line, right? I'm a big fan of how he's playing this. It'll be interesting with bloodlines and forging. See, Viper doesn't know about the full walls. You see how his scouts repositioned a bunch there? That's because he's clicking behind, and they're going that way. And he's like, wait, really? And then, yep. That tells him there's probably a full wall then. Oh, man. Oh, this is a great moment for Sitaux. Or is it? Sees the archers now. Now, he'll want to group up and fight this. Viper's got... Is it 3 spearmen? Yeah, 3 spearmen in there. If it was 4 or 5, it'd be a little different. I think Sitaux could get enough scouts to take this fight. I think Viper's going to sense the upgrades and realize that Sitau's going to want this fight. So he's going to try and get more units forward, try and get more upgrades. There's the fight. Sitaux, a little pullback would be really nice for him here. He doesn't do it, but he doesn't need to, and it's a great clear for the Frenchman. Again, game 1, he showed how he can get ahead of Viper. In fact, Sebastian showed that he can get ahead of Viper in his first round against the Viper. Didn't seem to matter too much at the end, did it? I love Sitau's position now. Like, Viper's going to be playing defense with archers and very few spearmen. Viper can't full wall his base. Sitau's got crazy farm count. Sitaux should reach Castle Age at a really healthy time, and he's in a nice position to harass Viper for the foreseeable future with these scouts. Again, like, the archer addition with the spearmen there, at least based on what I know about the map, I think that's a little bit more common on Arabia, where you're closer and the maps are situated differently. But scouts can dominate this map. But Viper's still building up archers, waiting for Castle. We'll drop the second range, so probably will be cav archers for him in the long run. And now Sitaux loops around this way. Here he sees the archers. Here Viper might catch him out, and Sitaux micros away like a beast. There's the Castle Age. Good click up for Sitaux. His economy is so good. Oh my word. I'm so jealous. This is one of those things I see and I'm just like, I need to queue into a game right now. I need to go play Chinese. And then I will lose 2 villagers before feudal to a drush. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I want to go cast again. How aggressive is he going to be here? He's adding more scouts. I honestly don't hate the move. I think when you already have 7 and you have this many farms, I think adding a few more is completely fine. And it'll just... I think the approach could be keep Viper in his base and maybe even trade against Viper's archers. That way, there's no archers left to deal with any knights you make. But yeah, this is a play, guys. I don't know about you, but I used to play Mongols a lot. And in general, scout civs when I was, like, let's say just like 1100 or something. So I was a noob, let's say. Or maybe even below 1100. I don't want to call it 1100s. But anyways, I'd always make extra scouts and go for light cav. And I feel like nobody at the high level does it these days. I think it's because bases are usually walled. But when bases aren't walled, I think it's an absolutely amazing move. You just do not see it that frequently. Even at low elo, I don't see it that frequently. Like, I remember some guy did it with Turks because he got light cav for free. But dude, even 3 spearmen's not enough against that number of scouts. Now Sitau's up. Probably going to drop a town center somewhere. There he does. 3 stables from him. Light cav's on the way. This light cav could absolutely kill these archers. Tracking these archers is the most important thing. If Sitaux knew these archers were moving out, he would group up, everything and kill it. He just doesn't think Viper's going to be that bold because, I mean, who would move forward when he's got all this army? Only a crazy person would. He still doesn't see it. Damage control time for the snake. How many times have we seen Viper somehow not get punished and then punish his opponent with a counterattack. He's dropping 3 town centers. The massive crossbow army is moving forward. Viper will lose a villager or 2 due to the light cav raids. But the crossbows are moving in. Now, there's no wood line to hit right now, and the TC's going up. So this gets interesting. Viper's lost 3 vills. He's going to lose 4. He's going to lose 5. He's going to lose 6. He's going to lose 7. Viper's going to lose 8 villagers to that attack. The light cav have paid off. Not to mention the idle time for the Viper. So now Viper's micro has to pay off. Yeah, I've never been 1100 on DE. It was back in the HD days, and I don't even remember what my elo was. Let's say like 1600 HD, but that would have been back in like 2014 or 2013, so I don't know where that would actually place me. We've got a Siege Workshop for Sitaux, adding a Scorpion now. He's got Knights, and he's got the TC Fire too. That's all going to be helpful. It's just going to stop Viper from diving in much further. And Sitau's like, I need to dive. I don't know if he needs to dive right now with this number of Knights, though. Against Thumbring, I really hate the move. I think, as you can see here, Viper's micro, good enough here. Then again, maybe I'm misjudging it. Sitau's getting some decent kills. The pathing on the Knights is killing me. Oh my god, dude. They just cannot attack. Also, the Wolf is actually helping Viper because it's just another little hitbox that these Knights had to run into. But yeah, that's a questionable fight for Sitaux. If Viper wasn't going to run in anyways, you could always have shifted these villagers, and now he's showing he's very happy about the pathing. Bleeping Knights won't attack. But also, that's just a bad fight, right? Like, I think Sitaux has to be experienced enough to know that you don't want to take that engagement. And he's given Viper an opportunity back into this game because of it. This would have been killed if he was patient, tracked it, ran back and forth, waited, brought the Scorpion, and would have been fine. Sitaux kills another villager. What do you guys think about players? You know, it is a tournament. Players being chatty in those situations. Do you like it or hate it? I'm a chatterbox in ranked games, but I feel like in tourneys, I think I would hope that I would be a little bit more cool-headed, and I wouldn't say that type of thing. You know? It makes me worry for people's mindsets if they start to chat and complain about the pathing there. But I really like it as a caster. Okay, you guys love it? Okay, cool. In a ranked game, dude, I'm trying to get people to talk to me more. I guess the reason I'm not chatting much in tournaments is because I lose in the second round. So that's also part of it. Sitaux has at least earned his ability, given himself opportunities to chat. All right, I was just curious. Anyways, it's 2 TCs right now for Sitaux, not 3. Still doesn't know where these crossbows are, but, I mean, there's not many of them anymore. And Viper's played some risky plays in this game, man. But I think moving out with the crossbows paid off. So far, though, I think Sitaux has been the better player. He's been aggressive. He hasn't let Viper rest much. Viper just trying to mass his cav archers. And this is that composition we talked about. Now, let's see. Viper accidentally attacked the house there. Sitaux reacts nicely. And I think these crossbows are going to get cleared up once and for all by Sitaux. Remember that composition we talked about, guys? Remember the theme anytime we're watching the Viper play? He falls behind early. The longer the game goes, the better he tends to play, right? And I really like the army composition in the long run for the Tatars. I think Cav Archer, Hussar is super strong. There's a lot of Knights right now for Sitaux. It would be tough for him to force the issue with Ballistics in for Viper. Remember, Thumbring's free as well for the Tatars. Okay. Viper's eco isn't set up to create villagers all the time. It's getting there. But what it is set up to do is get ballistics for these cav archers. And Sitaux is... So this is what tends to happen. So he's currently trying to avoid the CA. Okay? So he's outrunning the cav archers and splitting groups to get villager kills. That's good, because it obviously gives him an advantage to get the eco. But there's eventually a point where Viper will have so many cav archers he has to stop them. Will he be able to deal with the cav archer mass? For now, though, I like how he's kind of like kept his siege at home instead of moving out. And I like how he's splitting groups of knights and forcing reactions from the Viper. Viper makes a house there, like he's trying to trap these knights in here. That might be good for Sitaux, actually. Then again, I don't know. It depends on if Sitaux finds those vills. Viper's now... Okay, made another house. Sitaux runs away. Here the Cav Archers are hitting Sitau's wood line. Here you have Viper with his Cav Archers and his TC fire. And Viper is so annoying. He re-walled here again. So those knights can't leave. So he's actually going to kill that knight eventually. And then he's just baiting these units back to the TC fire. He's going to have ballistics in 5 seconds. Plus he's got all that TC fire. But, it's as fancy as it is from Viper, and as many examples as we've seen from him over the years, where he can do this stuff, it's still +2 knights. He still lost 20 vills. And Sitau's eco is flying compared to his. Look at the overall idle time in this game. 2 hours for Viper because he spent so much time in his town centers. He doesn't have that many Cav Archers, actually. He only has 17. So I don't think that idle time is a really good sign for Viper, and I think Sitaux knows it. But again, there's still that worry, and the worry's starting now, is can he actually deal with the CA mass? Normally, what you want in these situations, by the way, is if you've been 2 stable the whole time, you're then going like 3 stable, so you have more production to keep up. The other thing is you want stone, so like the player that has 20 villager lead is now thinking, I need to hold until imp. Not hold, but that's part of the thought process. And so then you want defensive castles. So I'm a little surprised with 100 vills we haven't seen any villagers go to stone for Sitaux. I think any moment now, he's going to pull a bunch of vills over to stone, but he just hasn't done it quite yet. Now, camels do more damage to the Cav Archers when they hit them, but they also tank fewer shots because of the lack of Pierce armor. That's actually a really good mangonel shot there. Viper's Cav Archers are pretty weak. But yeah, for Sitaux, he's like, if I just chase down, I can at least get some good hits. Still making Viper work over here as well, which has been impressive. Love this TC from Viper as he needed more gold. Love the fact that Viper will soon be able to get a castle, possibly. Yeah, see what camels can do, though? Like, that's why Sitaux added camels. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the low HP Cav Archers are just getting melted here. Woo-wee! Is Skirm ever a good option versus Cav Archers? On an open map like this, no. Because of the speed, as you mentioned. It's not a bad move, but good players are just going to run away from it, right? Imp now coming in for Sitaux. Still no vills on stone. Holy crap. Okay, there we go. There's some vills on stone. Also, I like how much safe farming he has up back here. There he'll lose those knights. Viper is still pretty far away from the Imperial Age, so what he wants now is he wants decent army trades. To restate what I had said prior to this series, like, everyone else in the group has to play Viper. When you're playing him in Titans League, getting 1 or 2 wins would be huge because Viper's expected to get so many wins against everybody else. I think Sitaux is going to be so pleased with himself if he could win this game. And yet again, the Camel's chasing down the CA. The other thing about it, too, is camels are slightly faster. From what I'm seeing here, 1.54.1.6. Viper should have husbandry in at this point. I'm assuming he's running off of husbandry. I don't have the speed stats fully memorized. Sitaux is going to take this gold as well now. I mean, I think Viper's going to have trouble against heavy camel. Unless he has the defensive castle spots everywhere. Like, Viper needs to be imp. And he probably would need another castle here, and then he can kind of camp behind this for a while. He knows he needs imp, and there he clicks up now. Close game. Isn't Acropolis awesome? Ah, this is so fun. I've loved this game. Acropolis is such an underrated map. I hope the devs add it to the ranked queue every so often. I would love to cast it a bit more. But for Titans League, obviously, it'll be part of this season. Okay, Sitaux kills another villager. Just keeps Viper at home. He wants to know where Viper is right now. Still Viper's Cav Archer mass, only around 20. Nothing crazy. Nothing 30, 35, 40, which is where it becomes really tricky. Feels like if Viper was in Sitau's position, this could be game over. but it is Sitaux against Viper. That was not the best of fights there for Sitaux. He is getting heavy camel. He's also going for Cavalier. He's also getting full imp armor. Remember, Viper's only 90 seconds away from imp, and Viper can have 2 castles. So camels can't engage underneath the castles. This game will go on longer. This is where you need relics if you're Sitaux, and you need to plan about like locking down these side areas. And you notice what Viper's up to, right? Like Viper's trying to get relics. Viper will not be killed to this early against this early imp wave. Absolutely not. Also really hard to win a Trebor when you're trebbing uphill. Viper's going to get herbal medicine now. And that'll mean his units heal up faster in that castle. Okay. Knights are on the TC. That won't last long. You can tell Sitau's a little desperate for damage. Over here, he's fighting with camels underneath TCs. And I think we're going to start to see a little bit of frustration, desperation set in for Sitaux here. Just a little bit. He's kept Viper off of so many golds, though, and I love this. He's like, okay, all right, fine. I'm just going to run through again. Chase me. Stay here. I don't want you to move anywhere else. Idle time for Viper. 23 Cav Archers only. Bracer chemistry now on the way for those things, though. We've got more stables for Sitaux, so he doesn't want to make skirms at all here. Just full Cav. I so badly want to see Flaming Camels. We won't see it because the Siegecraft upgrade is probably the last thing Viper will research. I don't know if Viper has the eco for it, but genuinely, if Viper knew his opponent was going 20 stables, he should go for Flaming Camels here. Flaming Camels are demos of the land, and they're good against cavalry. Oh, it'd be so epic. Wait, he will see the stables now. I wouldn't put it past him. I've officially got my hopes up. How much is that upgrade? Does anyone remember? The problem is he probably needs heavy Cav Archer first. He has so few Cav Archers. Sitau's going to drop a castle there. Sitau's just going to run in again, man. Run in again. Just get more raids. He knows that's Viper's gold. He doesn't want Viper to take gold. Boom. Crazy raid. Here he's going to dive as well. Just YOLO stable units for Sitaux. Will this eventually be seen as a mistake? He's got more in the queue. Viper 24 Cav Archers. He doesn't have any gold income. This is his gold income. This and this. He's going to get relic number 2. I just noticed the monk was out. This castle has 6 kills now. The villagers will get back on gold for Viper. Now Sitau's trying to switch sides here. Viper's really struggling to keep up with this, though. And he's going for pikemen. You're saying it's 500 wood, 400 gold? Yeah, and then you need to make the units. It's not worth it, I don't think, for Viper to do that. He still needs to spend that wood and that gold to Cav Archers. Normally, I'd say you should get light Cav if you're Sitaux. And okay, he is doing that now. But honestly, I wouldn't have... With the amount he has on gold, as long as he takes all these golds too, I wouldn't actually mind if he were to continue with just straight Cavalier Camel. But he's starting to get ranged upgrades now. Here's a question, guys. What do you think about Sitaux going for his own Cav Archers? With that much gold income? I don't think you'll ever see people do it, because double gold compositions are really, really risky in Age of Empires 2. Because if you don't kill somebody, you have problems. But I wouldn't have... If he's not going to make any more camels and any more Cavalier, I actually wouldn't mind him going for his own Cav Archers, because Chinese Cav Archers are half decent. They get Thumb Ring. They get full blacksmith upgrades. Oh, man. Oh, man. The camels! The camels! These camels have been sick. Crazy raids from Sitaux. The skirm is going to be really handy here against the pikes and the CA. Viper's down to 13 CA. Viper's going to lose this game. The reason I say Cav Archers as opposed to skirms is just because you have speed. But we're going to see a castle here from Sitaux. Sitaux has played amazing. He could have won the first game too if he would have stonewalled. There's a reason there's a lot of hype around this guy. Remember, he was in gold the previous season. He got promoted pretty easily compared to other players. He played in Red Bull. He played in a lot of... He's been competing in all these events. A lot of... I think most pros would consider Sitaux top 16 right now. I don't think there's many people who would put him out of that. Viper's 160 pop. Every time he stabilizes somewhere, Sitaux hits him in another area. And this time, Sitaux is waiting with skirms now. And he's going to go for Rams and Trebs, and he's just going to try and push this position. He doesn't really even seem to care about losing units underneath castles, as long as he's killing Viper's villagers. This is where that big ball of CA is, as we see Silk Armor and now more armor upgrades from Viper. But I take it back. It's not really even a big ball. It's just like a teensy little bouncy ball, you know? Bounces all around. You can't really control it well. Pikemen. Man, this is before I brought up the fact that the Tatars do get howled. They have really poor infantry upgrades, so it's not the best in the long run. Sitaux, though, maybe needs to consider Siege Ram instead of Trebs, because, or at least in addition to. Viper's population still looking pretty decent. Sitau's going to drop a castle here just so he can't be raided. And that's the thing. So I said this when Viper played Sebastian. What Viper does to you, or what the best players are able to find if they're going to come back against you, is they're going to find an opportunity where your push isn't disrupting them enough. That's what they need. So if there's ever a point where Sitau's push isn't threatening enough, where Viper doesn't have to send everything to it, then he's going to start to raid. And Sitau's thinking about that. He's like, if that happens, I want castles up over here. I prefer a castle more towards the middle, personally. Or like here or here. But I understand what he's doing, at least. But yeah, I mean, like with Siege Ram and Trebs and all pressuring this castle, like this push is absolutely really difficult for Viper to stop. Viper just currently seems to be delaying what could be the inevitable. And he just can't take gold. And Sitau's going to drop another castle there. This is an awesome game from Sitaux. And hey, Darl in chat is back rooting for Sitaux. Darl, you got really silent near the end of game 1. I don't know if you heard me make that joke. You might have gone to get some water or something. But yeah, man, like Sitaux is a beastly player. And he's all over the Viper right now. Viper, I've yet to see him over 30 Cav Archers. He can't deal with this push, and Viper taps out. A great game from Sitaux there. My favorite part about this game was how he realized the walling needed to be played out. And so he changed how he walled. And then also I loved how he stuck on stable units. He didn't try and switch into archers, which Chinese are really good at. And he just raided nonstop, right? Like, it kept looking like Viper was going to stabilize and then be able to push out because he cleared up a raid. But then right when Viper would start to go forward, there was another raid. 106 villagers killed by Sitaux in this game. He lost 1. And I remember when that one was, too. It was on this wood line. He lost 1 single villager in the entire game. Was as well executed as you could ask. And Sitaux gets an important victory. And hey, if Sitaux plays like that, there's no doubt in my mind that he could even win the next game. Now, it will be on a more closed map, which is a little more strategic. So you've got to lean towards Viper, who picked it as his home map. But 75,000 resources versus 55,000 resources. That's a crazy eco difference. Sitaux played very well, earns himself $40 with that victory. And we'll move on to Fortified Clearing next. Viper's playing as the Poles here in the yellow. So he did go Poles, and my thought process on Poles was you will find it more difficult to get to the second stone, I feel. I think Arena does tend to have the stone out here, so maybe it's not actually more difficult. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, maybe I am wrong, because there's a neutral stone back there, but you're going to have to look pretty far for that. Game 3... Sitaux winning this game would be massive. Like, Sitaux winning this game would be shooting himself up so far in what people thought of him, but... And everyone else has to play Viper? Oh, geez, man, that would be crazy. And he went for the Gurjaras. I'm surprised by that. But I kind of like it versus Poles. I feel like Chakrams and Heavy Camel is way better than anything Poles can make. But for Poles, it's all about how much they can spam and how good their economy is. So that's it for Poles. I think you got to make it a little messy here for your Poles and be aggressive at times. So the Gurjaras can't have that free boom. And, you know, try and maybe spam those Cavalier before your opponent can get Heavy Camel. Or switch into Obuk before the chakrams can be massed. In fact, I think the timing is actually on the chakrams here. Because I know the chakrams are really crazy, but you do need multiple castles to be able to get to them. And wow, Sitau's clicked up. Sitaux has clicked up to feudal. Is he going to go fast feudal to attack Viper on the outside, maybe? Dang, man. He also could just go eco upgrades, but it also could go forward in tower rush, Viper. So I've seen that strategy plenty of times. Okay, here come villagers. Viper's definitely going... Wait, he's going feudal as well. Okay, wait a second. What? For Viper, though, it looks like he's just going to go eco upgrades in feudal. What did Viper see? I think there's a chance that Viper is somewhat expecting this at the moment. Maybe due to Sitau's score dropping. And so he's thinking that he needs to defend this and then just farm away. And here comes Sitaux with the Vills, by the way. No loom, so he's up super fast, which could mean Viper could lose his scout. Let's see. Now, Viper could use his Vill too, but the feudal age camel scout gets bonus damage, so it gets a lot of HP off regardless. So I think Sitaux could just kill the scout. Kill the scout, then kill the Vill. Or at least force Viper to quick wall. Killing that scout's going to be so helpful. Wow. Dang, man. And now we have a range, too. And Viper doesn't know what pressure is coming. And Sitaux can now scout and see everything that Viper's going to do to react to this. This is really good for Sitaux. Woo, 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 woo. All right. Sitau's going to see Viper's up, and he's going to be like, what? That's super fast. Yeah, the camel scout with Gurjaras is wild, man. And then Sitau's going to wall this. I think Sitau's concerned that Viper might go that way. It is funny. Game 1, a clear instance where I think he should have walled. Wait, what? No! No, no, no. He deleted some of his own walls. Okay, so he placed stone walls here and then was like, oh, that's stupid. I can just do palisade walls. So he double-clicked them and then shift-deleted so he could mass delete. But on his screen at that time was also the stone walls that he started with. So now he has a hole in his map that he might not realize until much later in this game. Oh, no. I mean, you have to assume he's going to look there, but I don't know. All right. Tower here from Sitaux. Sitau's bringing in his camel scout. I have archers for Sitaux now. The positives for Viper are he would have wanted to have gone on stone, right? Like, that's precisely what he would have wanted with poles anyways, because you get gold while you do that. So I don't think this is too bad for Viper. The negative, obviously, is he doesn't have a scout, so he can't really see what Sitau's doing. Not sure I love this move from Viper to send the Vills in and out. This is highly technical stuff, but I mean, that villager, I guess he's just going to time it right and just run away. That's just to help him. Sitaux going for a really crazy build here. I mean, he's got 1 lumber camp. He's got 5 on golds. He's sending another villager this way. I really like his micro with his camel. The fact he hasn't lost it yet is impressive. But yeah, Viper's just gonna, like, house wall behind this. He's just gonna make another tower. Is this the game you won against poles? Do you want to force poles onto stone? I'm not so sure. I mean, there are a lot of archers here. This villager also gets very interesting. If this villager just stone walls this side, that'd be pretty fun, I think. Yeah, it's what he's going to try and do. It definitely falls into the category of ambitious. Because Viper's going to be chasing your camel with the spearman. And now your camel's dead. I don't know. Maybe Viper will actually bring the spearman back home because of that, though. Okay, so thus far, I actually prefer things for Viper. Sitaux had a minute of TC idle time, which is a pretty crazy stat. He's got 3 farms. He can't actually continue to stonewall both sides because he didn't take the stone. So that's not good. But I guess the thought process is to wall the sides isn't awful, though. I've seen this before, and then Viper's just like, oh, okay, so I just castle drop your face in the middle? That's great. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm very concerned for Sitaux that Viper's just going to be forced to go to the middle, and there's going to be a gaping hole in his wall. And Sitaux seemingly has no clue about that. Like, look at Viper's food count. Just pull things. Getting all that food from your full work farms. Does Viper see the walls? He doesn't. That's actually pretty interesting. If he gets fully walled in on both sides but doesn't know about it, that'd be pretty fun. Let's look at resources collected. Viper's collected so much more. Also, Viper, if you see that hole, do not run in. You need to wait. Like, I think in a game that becomes towers and macroing to Castle Age, poles are always way better. So I think what I would have preferred with all the potential strategies for Sitaux is just fast castling into TCs. And that is actually a bit more awkward for the poles. But it's easy to say now, I guess, as Viper is... I think the biggest thing, and this is such an underrated thing about how this is played out, is the fact that Viper went he went faster feudal. And I assume he did it because he expected this type of thing was a possibility. But yeah, Viper's walled on this side. He's going to see he's walled on this side, and he's just going to go to the middle. And then there's a hole. Oh. No. Oh, Sitaux. And also his army, like, I guess, actually, if he sends his army to the middle, then he'll start looking there. But his army isn't in the middle right now, and he's got to loop him around to the sides. He's forcing Viper into the hole. That's an interesting sentence right there. But no, seriously. Like, you gotta look at this if you're Sitaux. This is Sitau's point of view. He's going to realize it's so late that he might actually assume the map is bugged, which is kind of funny. But will Viper notice it? I don't know. I think it's clear to me that Viper's going to drop town centers. So maybe town centers here. Sitaux could maybe go for stables, like a little siege push, possibly. But yeah, Sitaux opened that hole himself by mistake. And will he notice it? I guess at this point, it doesn't seem like it's going to be like an early Castle Age issue for Sitaux. He could get all 9 relics, guys, with the way the walls are situated. And also, the thing I like about the sides is that Viper has to constantly be aware that a rush could come in from there. Oh, Sitaux, please. Okay, I think Viper's going to notice it. Oh my god. You don't want to show Viper this, of all people. Okay, Viper could see... Oh, will Viper notice? Yeah, he notices. Don't run in. He will not run in. I guarantee he won't run in. Viper's smarter than that. Like don't show him with 3 units that don't have fletching. Oh, oh wait, there's 2 wolves being lured in by Viper right now. This is kind of funny. Sitaux might not even know that these units came in from his walls. He might assume they ran in behind because the wolves. This is so funny. Also, that could be a wolf kill right there. Woo, 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 woo. New TC for Viper. Again, he could be siege pushed on this side. He's got to be careful. He's just going to leave the archer there. This villager's running home. Probably just sending idols back to work and not realizing that guy's forward. That's not... I think that is a mistake from Sitaux. He's not realizing. As... Oh my god, what the... He actually... Hold on, rewind. Sitau's a god. Check this out. The wolf is chasing him. And he says, sorry, wolves, not today. Boom. Makes a gate. And now the guy is free. That's a very cool play, actually. And Viper takes the gate out now. In the middle, we're probably going to see some Shravamsha riders and the archers from Sitaux. He's dropping the second town center. He's also dropping the monastery. Here, the villagers still being chased by wolves. Sitaux. Wow. I think at the very least, we need to toss that on shorts, right? And now the wolves are going to go after the archer. What? What? Woo, woo, woo. Dude. That's impressive stuff, I have to say. Viper just realized that there's a wall on this side, too. So now he's going to send all of his army to the middle. And Sitaux just realized there was a hole, thankfully. 40 villagers versus 42. Viper on some kind of clock because of the outside and needing access to those resources. But I think he has the much better food eco right now, and I'm going to check that. Yeah, it's just insane, his eco difference. And he gets gold from mining stone. So I think Viper's completely fine. I can completely see what Sitaux is thinking, but his economy has taken a hit in order to get this position. Over here, villager has to be walled in against another wolf. Oh, no. Oh, no. Sitaux. 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 Oh, no. What have you done? Oh, he killed it. Oh, okay. All right. Nice job. Yeah, maybe we could add that to the list of things he did against the wolves today. Anyways, apart from the wolves, we've got knights from Viper. So it's a bit of an Arabia-style game. Knights, scouts, monks, and knight monk. Better than camel archer here, at least in these numbers. Viper wanting to get some relics. We'll get his first relic soon. Scouts from Viper going for a monk. It's like he knew that this would be a thing, and he's going to get that kill on that monk. Well played. Sitaux now has a scout as well, so Viper will have to be careful. Both players playing this extremely well. This has been a really good series. And again, I think the important thing to bring up is that this is a promoted player. And I know with Sitaux, his name carries a little bit more weight than maybe some of the other promoted players. But, I mean, there's some sick promoted players, and I can't wait to see them all. Like, Valis and Running being promoted into Group A. Like, Group A is just... Group A is insane. All the groups are insane. 60 villagers versus 52. Still curious on resources collected. And Viper's collected 2,000 more resources. And that's only going to grow. Also, here, it's realistic that he would actually break out as he sends a ram that direction. And now, Sitaux... Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait, Viper realizes this. I think Viper needs to bring his knights back, though. There's still archers out there. This is nifty thinking from Viper. So he wants to drop this castle. He doesn't have his knights here, though. These are archers without fletching, though, which is kind of the funny thing. They can't actually just deny this castle like it's nothing. But I don't think it'll go up easily for Viper. He is healing the vills at the same time. What is this? And now Sitau's going to convert the vills, force him away. You see Viper hesitate there? I think he was considering running back to get this castle up. Sitaux might actually come forward right now and drop his own castle. I wouldn't mind it, but I love the town centers. I love how he's catching up with the food eco. Sitaux is not fully walled on this side, and Viper knows that, which is why he's heading that way. If I'm Sitaux, I'm very concerned about my own base at the moment. Viper, I guess, is just going to use the monks to try and convert the units here from Sitaux. Sitau's trying to convert villagers. Viper converts some archers. He was just super patient here. Archers still hitting villagers. I'm really trying. It's very hard to cast. Polish villagers heal. Plus, they're being healed by the monks. This villager is going to switch sides because he's like, I don't like it here anymore. Don't make me build a castle like that, please. Thank you. Knights get into the back from Viper. And Sitaux sees it. And Sitaux will need his monks, actually, which is kind of ironic. So he's going to run home now. And also probably bring his camels home, allowing Viper to complete that castle. And Viper is on the way to Imp. On the way to Imp, and he's going to kill some vills. Or not, because Sitaux can quick wall too. Sitaux's quick walls have been insane. And it's the confidence to it, too. Like, a lot of people do those plays when they're the better player. But when you're in a series against the Viper, not many people have the confidence to do some of these little quick plays. So it shows that he's good enough where there's no level of, like, risk in his mind in trying that. Viper's going to try and take map control. Viper's getting cab upgrades. Dropping the stables. 3 relics for Viper, by the way, as he's still thinking about coming over here. And Sitaux... Sitaux calls the GG. I wonder what he thought here. Now, do I think that Sitau's behind? Oh, for sure. Polish eco is just nuts. 5,000 more resources collected. I do think Sitau's behind, but I'm not seeing anything here that tells me this is a GG time. I think you drop the castle here. I think you stabilize your economy a little bit with the market. And then I think from there you go imp and try your best. So I think it was a little preemptive. And, a little disappointing because we want to see more of a game. But ultimately, guys, like, how many villagers on food did he have right before he resigned? Okay, so he's not on the way to imp. He's got 26 on food. Viper's got 37. And Viper gets that big food boost every time a farm is built around this, right? Viper's going to have Cavalier that produce 60% cheaper. That's right. That's still the number. 60% cheaper. Attached to a sieve that gets gold when they mine stone, and Viper's going to be able to be doing that. And Viper's going to have good relics. I mean, I honestly think this might fall into the category of Sitaux knows way more than even me, and he just could sense that he was just dead here. But I would like to see a little bit more of a fight, right? I think Sitaux would ultimately lose this game. I think that Viper defended really well. But I would like to see a little bit more of a fight there. I think you got to make Viper work for it a little bit more. That said, Sitaux played really good this series. I think he could have won each game. The game that I think he'll be disappointed by was actually Nomad. Because his start was incredible on Nomad. And he didn't defend from the organ guns well enough. He didn't wall up. And still, after that whole series, I think you have to say Sitau's in a good spot. He gets a win against Viper. He's got other opponents in his group that are going to have to play Viper, and he will play them. Sitaux looked really, really good today. So